Okay, welcome back to You Can Do It on the Husqvarna T425 Rebuild. In this video we'll be putting the new piston in here, sorting this out, might be doing a little bit of work on the engine and reassembling the chainsaw. So stick with us. And also I found that when I disassembled it, some of the parts have been put together wrong. So stay with us to see the correct way to install some of the parts. Okay. Let's get on to putting the piston. You've seen part two. Basically, the piston in there looked like they had some debris or a ring had snapped or something. But anyway, I've got a new piston here that's just arrived. That's the old engine in a little bag there, which I'll take out in a second. I just got my pliers, a few little bits of tool and some oil. So let's go on. Let's set about putting the new piston in the engine and seeing how we get on. Okay, she's out the plastic bag. The 4 bolts are out, so I should be able to. I'll split this case. I want to slide the. I don't know if I can do it with one hand because I'm trying to video. I do need to get. Yeah. Okay. Now I actually did put the piston ring, which I found tucked away somewhere else on the chain, so I put it in. What I've actually done, what I've done is I've cleaned up there with a bit of emery, 400 and 800 emery, cleaned up some of those. There's a little bit of aluminium that was on there, and the marks. I mean, it's not perfect down there. I mean, you can't see it at the moment, but you know, it's good enough. It's good enough. Anyway, so what I actually did was because I put that ring back in, I had this all connected up, and I had a nut on there, and I ran it with the impact driver, and I put a bit of oil on that, assembled it, and then I ran it up and down really fast with the impact driver. So that should have just hopefully worn any debris or anything there, just sort of cleaned it up as best I can. Rather than use the new piston and ring to do that, I'll use that one, and then it's got a bit of a better chance with the new piston and ring. So now what we're going to do then is take off this piston, put the new one on. The first thing, just to make it a bit easier, I'll take this out of the, she's out of there, so I'll put that out there and there. So we've just got that. So then here, what we need to do, down here, you've got your, you see there, you've got your little ring, your gudgeon pin ring. So we need to just put like a screwdriver down there and lever out that ring. So I will do that. Okay, now that ring came out. So what I did was I put that down there and levered it, and then your ring came out. So then I can just push the gudgeon pin out that way, and the piston will come off. Now there's a couple of washers either side, one there and one on the other side, so don't lose those when they come out. But I'll push that pin out now. Okay, she's come out like that, and now you can then just basically put some pliers on there and pull it right out. So that goes down there with that. Then this will all come off. Yeah, so the piston's off, look, and if you can see here, there's 2 washers here, these 2 washers, but they'll stay there if you just leave them in there. And then you've got your ball race in there, so just check that that's all right, which I know it is because I've already checked it. So that comes off, you see, and then you've got your race, your inner race in there, which you check that's all right, but I know it is. And then I'm going to put this back, put that back on there, and see, it's that way around. Goes on like that, and then I can put the new piston on. So let's open up the box here with our new piston. Husqvarna 425T. Only paid about 16 quid for that or something. So let's see what we get for the money. Well, we get a ring, which is helpful, and some pins, some gudgeon pins, and we've got some pistons, a piston, and then hopefully there we are, there's a gudgeon pin there. Alright, so we'll take this out of the packet. What I'll do is I'll put some oil, I'll put some of this 2-stroke oil on there now, ready to insert that in. Okay, we've got the new piston out of the packet, look, and it's got an AB on there, and that always points to the exhaust port. So when you've got your engine here, make sure you get this the right way around. So the way we do that, we turn that, so there's the exhaust port, right, and you can see you've got a groove there on that side, not on that side, you've got a groove in the middle. So that means that this piston goes that way round. Yeah, that's the groove there, that slots in that groove. So that piston goes that way round, and that AB on there has to point towards that, so therefore we know that the piston goes like that. Yeah. So the AB points there, which is the direction of the exhaust port. So I know the piston needs to go on that way. Okay, so let me just do that. Piston's on there, I've pushed the gudgeon pin in there. We just need to get our little clips there and put them on there. So it's hard, I won't be able to do that on video, so I'm just going to put those on. I'll probably use a pair of pliers to put those on. Okay, so I put those pins in both sides, and then I'm just going to put the new ring on and make sure the ring sits in there. Make sure the ring sits, the gap always sits there. Otherwise, when you put it on your, so it has to go there, otherwise we can't crush it. Okay, so now I'm going to put some oil around that, and then try and slip it in, as they say. Okay, so I've got that in there. It's to get the piston in. You obviously make sure that your ring is around. The gap is either side of the little pin that stops it rotating, and then you squeeze it, and then you just gently push your piston in, and it's chamfered inside there in the cylinder, so it pushes in all right. But be gentle with it. If it won't go, be careful, because if you push too hard, you could break your ring. So just gently move it in, and then the piston went in, and then I've just put my 4 bolts in there, and I've tightened them up. I've just done it loosely at the moment. Well, not loosely, but I've tightened them up. I haven't done it to spec, because I want to do some little bit of fettling on this engine. So the first thing I want to do then, I mean, it feels good when it turns round, but what I'm going to do then is put the flywheel back on here loosely, because it's got the keyway here. Oh, this side, yeah. Put the flywheel back on here loosely, just so that I can then turn this. And what I'll probably do is put a plug in it, and I'll just see what sort of compression I've got. So. Funny enough, over here I have my flywheel, and there's the little keyway here that you've got to put that in. You put your keyway in there. I'll put my flywheel on, which I'll need 2 hands for that. I'll put my flywheel on and tighten that up. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, flywheel's on, and then I'll just put a plug in. Now remember, I've put quite a bit of oil, I put some oil around the piston for assembly and the ring. So now what I can try and do is turn that and just see what sort of compression I've got. Now it's going to be very difficult for me to turn it and video at the same time. So let me try and set something up. I managed to set up myself a little stand. So look, that's only in loosely. Look. Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot more compression there. Yeah, look, that's good. Oh yeah, that's really, yeah, that's good compression now. Oh yeah. That's good. So that has solved that problem. So this beast is going to run. It will be a beast, hopefully, when we finish with it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now while we're here, let's move to. I can show you briefly what was assembled wrong when I purchased this. So now we've got the inlet manifold here, right? So that bit with a hole up there, you've got that side and that side. So that bit with there, that goes on the top. So the inlet manifold basically goes there, right? And then when I disassembled this, I had that in there. Well, I remember when I took it apart, I thought, well, that can't blooming work. How's that going to work? So anyway, I now realise after looking at the exploded diagram that bit should go there. So basically what happens is it goes like that. Yeah. It just looks a bit of a bodge, doesn't it? And then it bolts. Actually, I'll turn this around. It's probably, oh no, it's probably better. So then we'll bolt, and then it bolts onto there like that. Okay. So that was what was wrong to start with. But when you look down here, I better go and get my. I'll go and get my tool. Okay. So obviously, if you look down there, you see you've got your inlet for your pistons. Now the engine mounts this way, which is why I've got it positioned like this. So if you take this, if I take that out, right. So this inlet manifold, this part here is like it's really stiff. It's got a metal side. This side is really flexible, all right? Because that obviously pushes through that plastic handle, yeah. So if you actually look in there, look, that's a circle. First thing is obvious, that's a circle. That's all nicely chamfered down to that edge. But obviously when you look at that, the first thing that is glaringly obvious is that the inlet is not a circle, is it? So when you put that onto that, look, just loosely like that now, if you look down there, can you see it's going to hit? There's a huge restriction. Top of it's a bit harder to see on the, oh, that's better, you can see there. Look, you see? That's just hitting that wall there. So basically, hang on, let me get that on accurately. Look there, you see it's hitting there, it's doing the same at the top there. So you've got a circle going into basically an oval, and that's going to trip there, so you're going to get loads of turbulent flow through there. So then what they've done, I'm not going to actually stick that on the rubber, stick it on the inlet, I'll just pop it here. In fact, I'll take that out of the way, you don't need that. Yeah? So what you've actually got is that sitting there, right? Now, if you actually look inside there, it's massive. So what that is actually, must be some sort of restrictor. All I can imagine is that is some sort of restrictor. This thing here is a restrictor. So what I'm going to do is first thing is I'm going to take that out. I'm going to try and run it without this restrictor in there. But you see, if I put this up here, it's very difficult. Sorry about this, guys, but it's very difficult. If you look up there, look, when you got your airflow coming down there, especially on this side and that side, when you got your airflow, that's going to literally, it's like it's got a dead end. Now that's going to cause a really horrible flow, really horrible flow. So trying to work that focus. Yeah, look there, you've got that dead spot there, and you've got a massive dead spot there, because that is definitely going to act as a restrictor. All right, end of story. So what I'm going to do is I can use this. I just need to use I need to mark with that. I'm going to mark that there, draw a little line around it, and I'm going to mark that. And then what I end up doing is having here, I'm going to grind out here and grind out the top just to make the airflow a bit smoother. So I'll do that. What I'll have to do before I do that, obviously, is I'm going to take it all apart again, take the piston out and everything, and then I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to get my little die grinder and just clean that up. So let me take it. First of all, I'm going to strip everything apart, and then I'll be back. Okay, look, so I've done that. I've marked it. I've got a rough, you can see that there. I've got a rough marking of where I've got to grind. Now you've got to be really, I mean, I don't recommend you do this. This is just what I'm going to do. But you've got to be really careful, because if you look under there, look, you've actually got very little there to play with. So if you try to bore that sort of level like that down, you'll end up breaking through at the bottom there. So you really have to put quite a sharp little thing in there. But let me get my little die grinder and I'll have a go, and I'll come back and show you what I do. All right, a little bit of grinding later. Look, that's not too bad. Look, you can see that's at least sort of virtually round. I didn't want to go too far onto these edges, but yeah, look, so that looks a lot better now. So what I'm going to do now is take that all, I'm going to put that in, clean this out in soapy water, get rid of all the stuff here, clean up the table. But yeah, so that's gonna fit in. Look, you see that sort of chamfered there. So it's almost like that's built for, maybe it's the same one they use for all the different sizes, I don't know. But that's going to fit on a lot better now. Actually, it goes that way around. It's going to fit on there a lot better, look. If you look down there now, look at that, that's much better. Yeah, it's a treat. So let me go and clean that up, and then we'll have a look at assembling it. So I've put it all back together, and I put a little bit of gasket Hylamar, just a little tiny bit of gasket sealer on there, very thin, very thin layer. Now I'll torque those up to 15, which actually feels a little bit, when you're doing them up, you think you're going to strip it. So I actually only did those to about 14. I've just put this on loosely, and put the plug in just to check that I've got compression, which I have some decent compression on that, which is good. And then if you look down there now, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? That should be a lot less restrictive. So what I'm going to do now, what I do just because sod's law and all that, I'll just while we're building that up, I'll just stick a bit of, I've got some coloured gaffer tape, which I'll just stick on there, like that, just so nothing's going to fall down there. And I'll do the same on the exhaust, like that. Stick it on just fingertip, that's like that, look. And that just means that I'm not going to keep the plug in it until I actually put the thing in, and then I can't get anything fall into there. Right, so basically that's it. So we've rebuilt the engine, put a new piston in it. I'll clean the boards up before that, put a new piston and ring in it, and we've ported the inlet manifold area so it lines up, and I've taken out that restrictor there, so I won't be putting that back. So that there will go back on there. Now when I do actually put the inlet manifold on, I'll also put a little bit of Husqvarna gasket sealer around the inlet manifold just to make sure that's all sealed, because we do not be wanting to run this thing to be getting any air in there, because it will run lean and then it will seize. So that's good. But I don't actually think this seized, because I think something happened to it. I don't know what happened in there, but something happened. Whether the guy I bought it off another guy who'd obviously done something to it and taken it apart and couldn't get it back together again, I do not know. But anyway, I'm fairly sure that did not seize. That was more of a ring problem, or a little, maybe dropped something in there and then started it up or something, who knows. Anyway, so now we are going to start putting this back together. So this was just a short video on that, and now if you want to watch the next video, see me put it all back together the correct way and get the old baby started up. So see you on the next video. You can do it.